Climate change, it's real, it's urgent, and it's already knocking on our doors. Methane, a colorless, odorless gas, is now at the center of global efforts to fight climate change. But what exactly is methane? And why is India, one of the world's largest methane emitters, not part of the Global Methane Pledge? Let's break it all down, simply, clearly, and with the full picture. Methane is the second most powerful greenhouse gas after carbon dioxide. But here's the twist. Methane is 80 times more powerful than CO2 in trapping heat in the short term. However, it stays in the atmosphere for only 12 years, while CO2 lingers for over a century. That's why scientists say, cutting methane now is like hitting the emergency brakes on climate change. Methane comes from both nature and humans. Natural sources include wetlands and termites. But human-made emissions come mainly from three areas: agriculture, fossil fuels, and waste. Here's the breakdown. 40% from agriculture, mainly livestock and rice farming. 35% from fossil fuels, like coal mines, oil drilling, and gas leaks. 20% from waste, landfills and untreated sewage. Despite its impact on the planet, methane is useful too. It powers homes and factories, is used for cooking, heating, and is essential for making chemicals like ammonia and methanol. It even runs our buses and trucks as CNG or LNG. The world knows this. That's why methane has been part of global climate plans for decades. Back in 1992, the United Nations set up a big agreement, the UNFCCC, saying rich countries must take the lead in fighting climate change. Then came the Kyoto Protocol in 1997, making it official. Developed nations had to cut gases like methane. In 2015, the Paris Agreement gave countries more freedom to set their own climate goals, but still urged developed countries to lead the way. In 2021, the world launched the Global Methane Pledge, a voluntary deal where countries aim to cut methane emissions by 30% by 2030. Big tools were added. A global monitoring system using satellites, called Mars. A database to track emissions, the EMIO. New partnerships to reduce methane from oil, gas, and even food waste. But India did not sign this pledge. Why? Because for India, methane is not just about climate, it's about survival. In India, most methane comes from cows and rice fields, not luxury industries. These are the livelihoods of millions of small farmers. If India joins the pledge, it could mean less rice production, lower farmer incomes, threats to food security, and damage to India's role as a major rice exporter. That's why India calls these survival emissions, unlike the luxury emissions from industrial farming in richer countries. Still, India is not ignoring methane. It's taking its own path. Under the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, India is promoting smarter farming methods like System of Rice Intensification, SRI, Direct Seeded Rice, DSR, and crop diversification. In the livestock sector, India is improving cattle breeds, promoting balanced animal diets to reduce gas emissions, and encouraging biogas from cow dung under the Gobardhan scheme. These efforts aim to cut methane without hurting the poor. India also knows there are faster ways to reduce methane in the energy sector. Why? Because fossil fuel methane is easier to measure and control. There are fewer players, mostly big companies, and it gives quicker results. That's why the upcoming Methane Mitigation Summit in 2025 is so important. It will focus on cutting methane in oil and gas, where action can be quick and massive. But to do more, India and other developing countries need support. They need climate finance, technology transfer, and training from developed nations who have contributed most to global warming. Methane is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity to act fast, act smart, and act fair. India may not have signed the Global Methane Pledge, but that doesn't mean it's doing nothing. It is balancing global climate goals with local realities, food, farmers, and the future. And in this fight for our planet, every step matters. Climate action is not one size fits all. Let's walk together, differently but forward. Like, share, and subscribe for more insights.